You believe your silence is a shield. You think that by walking away, by cutting contact, and by finally ignoring them, you have won the game. You believe you have starved them of oxygen, and that eventually they will just fade away into the background of your life. This is the most dangerous misconception you can have. Because in the dark architecture of a narcissist's mind, your silence is not a boundary. It is not a polite end to a relationship. It is a declaration of psychological warfare. When you ignore a narcissist, you do not turn them off. You trigger a deeply hidden, highly volatile psychological protocol designed to do one thing: dismantle your sanity and reclaim their power. Today, we are not looking at generic advice on how to move on. We are looking inside the absolute panic of the narcissistic void. We are going to expose exactly what happens in their brain the moment you stop responding, and the terrifying four-stage trap they are building for you right now. Let's look at the reality of your situation. You are exhausted. You have spent months, maybe years, trapped in a funhouse of mirrors. You've endured the gaslighting, the shifting goalposts, the subtle devaluations disguised as jokes, and the emotional roller coasters designed to keep you off balance. So, you did what every textbook tells you to do. You went no contact. You stopped replying to the texts. You stopped answering the calls. You stopped defending yourself against their fabricated accusations. In the first few days, you feel a strange sense of peace. The storm has passed. You breathe. You think to yourself, it's over. They finally realized I'm done. But that peace, it is a psychological illusion. It is the quiet of a predator analyzing a new environment. You see, a normal human being interprets silence as a signal of disinterest. A normal person feels the sting of rejection, processes the grief, and walks away with their dignity intact. But a narcissist does not process reality the way you do. They do not possess a stable, internal sense of self. Their entire identity is a hollow shell, propped up entirely by external validation. In psychology, this is known as narcissistic supply. You were never just a partner, a friend, or an employee to them. You were a mirror. Your reactions, your tears, your anger, and your love were the reflections that proved they existed. By ignoring them, you didn't just hurt their feelings. You shattered their mirror. You erased their reflection. And that is a psychological injury they cannot, and will not, forgive. What happens next is driven by a phenomenon behavioral psychologists call an extinction burst. When you stop rewarding a behavior, the behavior doesn't immediately stop. It amplifies. If a toddler cries for candy and you ignore them, they don't go to sleep. They scream louder, they throw things, they thrash on the floor. A narcissist's reaction to your silence is an adult, weaponized version of the extinction burst. Because they cannot generate self-worth from within, the loss of your attention sends them into a state of psychological suffocation. To them, your silence is not just disrespectful, it is an existential threat. If they cannot control you, they are forced to sit alone in the terrifying, deafening emptiness of their own minds. And they will burn your world down before they do that. So, they initiate a calculated sequence of behaviors. It is almost mechanical in its predictability. If you are ignoring a narcissist right now, you are likely in one of these four phases. Phase 1. The illusion of self-awareness. The hoovering. At first, they will try to pull you back using the path of least resistance. This is called hoovering, named after the vacuum cleaner. They need to suck you back into the cycle. But it won't look like manipulation. It will look like a miracle. You will receive a message. It might be deeply nostalgic. I was just listening to our song. It might be an emergency. I'm in the hospital. You're the only one I trust. Or, most deceptively, it will be the apology you have waited years to hear. I've been going to therapy. I finally realize what I did to you. I am so sorry. This is the hardest trap to avoid. Your empathy, the very trait they exploited in the first place, begs you to respond. You think, maybe they have changed. Let me be brutally clear. They haven't. The apology is not a reflection of remorse. It is a calculated key designed to unlock the door you just bolted shut. The moment you reply, even if it is just to say, "Thank you for the apology," they have won. They have successfully extracted a response. The mirror is back intact. The supply is restored. Phase 2. The narrative hijack. The smear campaign. When the Hoover fails, when your silence remains absolute, their anxiety turns into calculation. If they can no longer control you, they must immediately pivot to controlling how the world sees you. This is the smear campaign. Overnight, the story is rewritten. Suddenly, you are the abuser. You are the crazy one. You are the toxic element they had to escape. They will go to your mutual friends, your colleagues, perhaps even your family. They will play the heartbroken victim with Oscar-worthy precision. They will leak half-truths, distorted out of context, to paint you as unstable. Why do they do this? 2 reasons. First, it isolates you. If you have no support system, you are more likely to crawl back to them. Second, it is a desperate attempt to provoke you into breaking your silence. They want you to get angry. They want you to publicly defend yourself. Because the moment you step into the arena to fight them, you are interacting with them. You are giving them supply. Phase 3. The narcissistic rage. If the hoovering doesn't work, and you refuse to engage with the smear campaign, the mask falls off completely. The fake empathy evaporates, replaced by pure, unadulterated malice. This is narcissistic rage. You will receive messages of unbelievable cruelty. They will attack your deepest insecurities, the secrets you trusted them with in your most vulnerable moments. They will threaten you. They will try to destroy your career, your new relationships, your financial stability. Understand this. This rage is not about hatred. It is about panic. Your unbothered silence is showing them that they are irrelevant. For a narcissist, irrelevance is worse than death. They are throwing psychological grenades over the wall, hoping just one will make you scream. Because to a starving ego, your hatred and your fear are just as delicious as your love. Negative attention is still attention. Phase 4. The rewrite and replacement. When the rage exhausts itself, and they realize the wall of your silence is impenetrable, they will stop. The silence on their end will suddenly match yours. But do not mistake this for closure. They have not reflected on their actions. Instead, their ego performs a self-preservation rewrite. They convince themselves that they discarded you. They tell themselves that you were beneath them all along. And immediately, they will secure a new target, a new mirror, a new source of supply. They will flaunt this new person, making sure you see how happy they are now. It is a performance, staged entirely for an audience of one, you. This is the uncomfortable truth you must face. The narcissist's reaction to your silence proves the most painful reality of all. They never truly saw you. While you were mourning the loss of a human connection, they were mourning the loss of a utility. You were a battery that powered their false sense of superiority. When you unplugged yourself, the machine stopped working. All of their chaotic reactions, the apologies, the rumors, the rage, are just the desperate noises of a machine trying to restart itself. This realization hurts. It shatters the romanticized version of the relationship you held in your head. But it is also the key to your absolute freedom. When you truly understand that none of their behavior is about you, that it is entirely about their pathetic, endless need to fill an unfillable void, their power evaporates. You stop wondering what they are thinking. You stop caring what they are saying about you behind your back. You realize that defending your reputation to people who believe a smear campaign is a waste of your breath. This is where you transition from merely ignoring them to achieving something much more powerful. You achieve calm dominance. Ignoring someone requires effort. It requires you to bite your tongue, to hold yourself back, to actively resist engaging. It means they are still taking up space in your mind. Calm dominance is different. It is the profound state of being completely unaffected. It is reaching a point where looking at their attempts to manipulate you is like watching a toddler throw a tantrum in a supermarket. You don't feel anger. You don't feel fear. You just feel a vague sense of pity and a desire to walk away. The opposite of love is not hate. Hate requires passion. Hate requires attachment. The true opposite of love is indifference. So, let them hoover. Let them whisper their lies to anyone who will listen. Let them rage against the walls of your boundaries. Do not give them your anger. Do not give them your fear. And above all, do not give them your words. Let your silence be the mirror that finally forces them to look at their own emptiness. And while they are staring into the dark, you, finally, can walk into the light.